welcome to another episode of The Confessional Room. I am your host, Victoria Nicole, and today I have the honor, this is our first time meeting face-to-face, right? Mm-hmm. We have communicated via text, email, and inbox. Your name is Shaniqua.
Absolutely.
And she and I met through a mutual friend, and as I was putting it out there for people to come into the room, I reached out to her, and she was like, nah, Victoria, but I got somebody who may be ready and willing to share their story. So that brings us here to today. Mm-hmm. And your name is Shaniqua, Absolutely. But you go by Nene, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So tell the people a little bit about yourself. I just realized that you have two boys, mm-hmm. handsome boys, mm-hmm. 11 and 10, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And their names start with a J.
Yes, ma'am.
You got a thing for J's?
No, I don't. It's just my baby's name.
Okay. So
Mama Boo-Boos.
Mama Boo-Boos. Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit about yourself outside of being a mother. You're an entrepreneur. This is your brand here. You got me some great stuff. It is B for Me LLC.
Absolutely.
She was like, wait. Let's get it together. Let's get it all the way together. And so, okay, so we got some hair oil here. We got some body butter.
Mm-hmm. And we help you out a little bit, my girl.
Tell me so we can tell the people.
Okay, my brand is called Be For Me LLC, where God be for us, who can be against us. Period. I just made it personal. I'm here. I do skincare for people like you and me. Mm-hmm. I make hair oil for people with alopecia, all different sorts and types of things. I make soap. I have turmeric soap. I have black soap, oatmeal soap for them babies. They get that eczema. You want to take care of those babies. I have whipped shea butter also, and everything is all natural. You don't have to worry about anything being sensitive for your skin. So this is what we have. Be For Me LLC. Don't let nothing stop you. Not even sensitive skin. And this is what we have. Okay,
but that takes us right into the segment that you chose.
Absolutely.
Pain into purpose.
Absolutely.
And so this was birthed, your business was birthed out of what?
Basically, it came from, I dealt with a time in my life where I was depressed, mm-hmm. just being depressed. And then I had my children. My 20s took me through the ringer. I got drugged my 20s. But it was all for a greater purpose. Mm-hmm. And what I want people to know now is that you don't have to be dragged through the mud. You don't have to be what people say you are. I went through, like I said, depression real bad. After I had my babies, it was postpartum depression on top of regular depression, mm-hmm. and things that I went through as a child and stuff like that. And then, you go through where people don't believe you. You got to be everything is a misunderstanding with people. And at one point in time, I did not like to be around people. Mm-hmm. But, now in hindsight, it was all for a greater purpose. So, like I said, I want people to know that you do not have to be dragged through the mud. You do not have to go through what people say that you should, or do anything that people say that you
got to.
But yeah.
No, you here. Like I told you before, you can't mess up in the room. You can't. No, I'm not. Yeah, don't take that out. You can't mess up the room. I just want to remind everybody, if this is your first time tuning into us, the Confessional Room is a platform that you come and you confess your truth.
Absolutely.
It has nothing to do, there's no scripts. I don't have cue cards. Absolutely. I don't believe in it. I believe that you and I are sitting here having a conversation, mm-hmm. and the camera just happens to be there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And absolutely is your filler word.
Yes, it is.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, Nene, you mentioned depression, and mm-hmm. I have battled depression. I done been what they call me, they diagnosed me bipolar, they done brought anxiety, depression. Mm-hmm. They finally got my diagnosis right, and when they said that I had PTSD due to trauma. Mm-hmm. And so what that means is basically I can go into a depression state if I'm triggered by old trauma. Mm-hmm. And old trauma can only trigger me if it's one of those things that I have not unpacked. Mm-hmm. And so for me, as many of you all know, I was sexually abused at the age of 7 by a female relative. Mm-hmm. And then from there, I gained depression because I didn't want to speak out. I did not want to be labeled. There was a time where I felt like I shouldn't be here. So when you say depression, where did your depression start?
My depression started as I was like 6, you know, and going through things where, where people, your family is, somebody in your family is doing something to you. We grown, we all know what we're speaking on, but you got to be quiet. And then, and on top of that, I'm going to school and I'm being bullied also. So I had to learn to, I was just this quiet person. So as I grew up, you know, my brother, he was my only brother on my mom's side. He ended up being killed. But before then, we were the only two middle children. So I learned how to fight. I learned how to handle people. I learned how a lot of skills that I learned from me having a brother. And I learned to have a backbone because that was my backbone. So when he passed away, it just felt like my life was over, but I had two babies to still care for. And I was also married, and you got all these people around you, and you got children, and your brother just passed. When I don't know if people experience death that way, to where you want to leave with this person, and you can't because you got two little babies calling you mama. So at that time, you know, I didn't know whether I was going left from right. Then I ended up being in the hospital for a week straight with the flu and pneumonia with two new children. And I had to move back into the house where the acts was taking place upon me. And I was an adult then, and I almost lost my damn mind. So sometimes you do have to create a space of peace where people can't mess up what you got going on. Sometimes you have to create that. And that's what I did. So when I ended up getting out the hospital and stuff, I ended up moving into an apartment, and I've been there 7 years. But that's because I learned stability, and I went into isolation. When I went into isolation, I learned that my friends were my friends. I ain't gotta have nobody backbiting and have nobody speaking about me. You know what I'm saying? I done been through the game where people talk about you, but they swear they love you type of thing. And then you going through, think about it, all the stuff you just told me, you were really going through, and you didn't know. Nobody taught you the game at that time, but nothing is like your own experience. So you had to learn the game and learn how everything went, but somebody supposed to have been there for you. Somebody supposed to have been told you, V, I love you, or you, hey, come talk to me, come sit with me, and let's see what we can do about this. But instead, your people will go and talk about you. You get what I'm saying? And that's heartbreaking. So I had to realize that my help didn't come from man. I didn't have to talk to people and get everything, because people will get tired of you. They'll get tired of you. Hey, baby, we got problems. Yeah, baby, we got problems over here too. We can't. But God never failed. God love is always free. And I'm not trying to get people to be religious, but I'm just telling people what got me out. And God is what brought me out. I went through isolation, and I stopped smoking and everything just so I can be in the word and get my mind right. I read, and I asked for direction from the Lord. And I know it sounds like I'm getting choked up, but when I think about how far I've came, y'all, it's just an amazing experience, because when you look back, you be like, damn, I thought this was the last bit. I thought my enemies was going to triumph over me, and they couldn't triumph over me. You get what I'm saying? So, like I said, I went through isolation, but in isolation, I did that for probably like 2 years, where I just let the Lord build me up. I didn't go around people so much. I just stayed and I was a mama to my children. Well, I am a mother to my children.
Absolutely.
And some people forget too, the recipe to life where God can bless you is if you take care of them babies. People be going through all this shit because they so focused on another individual, either a man or a woman, but the Lord wants you to take care of what He's already given you. People are not grateful enough, and they're taking things for granted, and that ain't what you're supposed to be doing. You got to be grateful for all this stuff. You got to be grateful. You get what I'm saying? Like I said, I've been in the same place for 7 years because I'm grateful. If I get tired of where I am, I'm just going to change it. Because I'm just going to change it. I'll gut the whole house out and buy new shit and put it in there. And my children get your shine on. I put them in there and let them do their thing. But I create an atmosphere of peace for my children. I create an atmosphere for myself of peace, because I don't got to deal with, my friends backbiting, or they everything about a man and everything male centered. But we got bills. We got children. Hey, my mental not right. Who going to be there for me? What y'all talking about? You get what I'm saying? People focus on the wrong things, and we want to stay on course when we're talking about things, or when we're trying to get when you're making goals, you want to stay focused on them. People don't stay focused long enough, so you got to find your tribe. Shout out to Deborah Dancy. Find your tribe. Find people that do the same shit you do, that love the same way you do. Because if you got one person just you showing more love than them, or it's not reciprocated, you're gonna feel unloved. You're gonna feel like, hey, I'm doing too much and I'm not getting shit from this. If it take you years, you still gonna feel like you got cheated out of something.
Correct.
So you ask for discernment. I use my discernment when I'm making business deals, when I'm doing things for people. And guys, about my products, half of the time I give them away because I love to take care of the Lord's people. People wasn't taking care of me when I was coming up. You get what I'm saying? I wasn't being protected as I should, as these young ladies should. I'm gonna let you talk, but go ahead. I'm sorry, I'm just talking away, but I'm just giving the game. Yeah.
No, you're totally fine. So I wanted to go back, if you want to, because it's so cliche. And one thing that I just kept hearing was you didn't feel protected. I kept hearing, you had to go back to where your abuser from. And for people who don't understand what she's saying, this is your first time ever listening. This is your first time. You're lost. I can infer, I can assume that you're talking about you were abused within your home. Sexually,
well,
physically,
not within my home. I was going to a home, and you know what I'm
within
saying?
your family?
Yes.
So you were sexually, mentally, or physically abused, or all the above?
All the above.
All the above. So let me see if I can sum up what you said, and then we can go to that. So as a child around 6 years old, you were sexually, mentally, and physically abused from someone in your household. So you and I, or maybe not you and I, but we do understand that there are going to be 1 in 3 children who are affected by sexual abuse, and typically by someone that they know and or dated before the age of 18. If I'm also not mistaken, it's like every few seconds or so somebody is being sexually abused. Those statistics are so scary every time I say that, because I always tell people to look to your front, look to your left, look to your right. Someone in those 4 people or in those 3 people are going to be sexually abused before the age of 18. And that is so scary. And I'm going to look it up. I keep saying this, but I'm going to really look it up, because it was some psychologist said that before the age of 7, that is when you learn your trust. And unfortunately, for people like you and I who were sexually assaulted before the age of 7, we didn't learn trust. We had to form what we thought trust was because it was robbed for us at such a young age. And then I also heard you mention that then you had your babies, and then you had to go back into the home or around those people who abused you. So I have to ask the question that everybody's probably wondering, like, where were your parents? Honestly.
When my brother got killed, baby.
Oh, and then you also said that.
It was around the time my brother got killed. It really hit our family hard. And what I want to say to you is, I'm not here to down people, because I don't want to give people that have done me wrong.
Absolutely not.
I never want to give them give them that boost that they affected me in that way. I'm just telling people how to get over it, how to move past it. That little group of people that's messing you over, the world is so much bigger and God is so much bigger. My dad wasn't around at the time. I don't know where he was, because I was grown. You know, they say you grown now. So when my brother passed, my mom had moved to a different state. Okay. So, you know, she felt like we were grown, but we had to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? It was hard for us to deal with it on our own. It's like having your whole world just turned upside down, and then you wanna die, but you really can't. You don't even know how to die. Or is this gonna hurt? You know what I'm saying? It's just so many emotions that I had to go through, and so many things, like so much pain that I felt. And that's where they were. They was up in and I believe when they weren't there, or no one was there for me, those are the times that made me stronger.
Correct.
So now that I'm older, it don't bother me no more, because the Lord had a greater purpose.
Understood. So let me see if I also I remember growing up as well. My brother was my best friend.
Absolutely.
And you know, I'll tell anybody any day. My mother had 4 children growing up, and we all have our different stories of how we grew up. I got to a place in my 30s. I'm getting ready to be 40, where I understand now, after having my daughter, that our parents did the most that they could with the resources in which they had. And so I have an abundant respect for anybody who is a parent, because that in itself is a journey.
Absolutely.
But I also do remember being in college when my brother went away for the first time. And it's like, God, how could you take the person? And although I didn't lose him, but I lost him for a moment of time because I didn't have that access. Like my brother was like
you was basically grieving someone who's still living.
Yeah, like, and he was my lifeline. Like anybody who knows me, if my brother called me, you might as well just shut up because I'm answering the phone. Like that, he is who I learned trust from. He is where I learned unconditional love from. And not saying that my mom didn't give me that, but he always accepted every version of it. And so I hear you when you say when you lost him, you felt like, should I live too?
Yeah.
And I believe even when with my daughter, I felt that way. When my daughter's firstborn, he was gone. And I believe that God sometimes gives us children to show us unconditional love outside of our nose. And what I mean by our nose is beyond what we can see. And for that, I tell people every day, my daughter saved my life.
Absolutely.
Because the road in which I was going down, it was going to lead to either death or in jail. Because I was out here doing the most.
Oh yeah, and life will tear you up if you don't get a grip.
If you don't get a grip of that. So I also heard you talk about your brother and your depression. So tell the people how out. I know you said you got into your word and God helped to guide you out of that. So is there anything else that you did to overcome your depression or to even just cope with it?
I did do a little bit of therapy, but I didn't go to a regular therapist. I went to someone who I could trust, someone that, a lot of people you can't trust. Some people just want to listen to you talk and just get your business and gonna tell it, but don't talk to them. Go to somebody you can really trust, and you sit down and you talk to one person. But if I didn't have that person in my life, or she's an older woman, if I didn't have that person in my life, I'm going to sit and I'm going to talk to God. I don't care if it's about my finger hurt. I'm going to sit and I'm going to talk to God, because I knew in those times where I went through a lot of hardship and pain and shit, and then people, the way you look and stuff like that, I had a problem with, women in authority. When they feel like you are trying to come for them, they get, how some of us can get, and it's unnecessary. Yeah, it's unnecessary, baby, because I don't care. I just want to get what I need to get and go home. We don't have to be that way. But just because I've had to go through certain things. So now when people say stuff now, it's just water off my back. It don't be meaning shit, babe, because I done been through hatred before. I done been through being accused of, oh yeah, she want my, I done been accused. And it hurted me deeply because these were by people that I love. So when you all are making accusations and stuff like that, make sure you stand on it, because the people that have to speak, these people are going to have to speak one day, and you never know how they're going to speak on your name. So, like I was saying to you, I had to get back on thought.
So I asked you, outside of the word, did you do anything else? You said that you went to therapy. So
I went to therapy
for a little while, but not your traditional one. And then you said you went to someone who was more like a sounding board for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I did this, but I'm the type of person, when growing up, you feel like you're a burden on people sometimes. So you won't talk, you just go and live life. If you don't want to feel like a burden to people. So I would hold stuff in, and when it finally came out, that other side will come out, and I'll lose my temper. I'll lose it. And I'll be like, why I'm being done like this? But I was so alone. And in those times is where I prayed. Those times is where I waited on the Lord and saw his works. So that's just really how I made it. You don't have to be dragged through the mud, baby. It's ways out here. It's people you can talk to that'll really care about you. It's things that you can really do to help yourself. I started, like I said, reading. I started journaling. Write stuff down. Don't let people see what you're writing down. When you write it, even if you're upset, continue to write it again. That way it will release some stress. Or like I said, guys, you got to learn how to pray. Praying is so essential. We be going through stuff and people be like, what's going on? Because you ain't prayed in a while, boo. You don't know what to pray. And like I said, these are for the people that speak the language that I speak, on prayer and stuff like that, because a lot of people don't believe in that. And I'm not here to influence you, but I'm just here to help the people who want to be helped, the way that I was helped. Prayer. That's it. Prayer. I done been knee deep. I done had to sleep in my car before, not with my children now, but alone. I done had to be in hotel rooms. I had to do the whole shebang, guys. And you don't have to be dragged through. I keep saying that. Don't be dragged through the mud. Don't be dragged through the mud. Let's keep it moving. That's all I'm saying. Don't be dragged, baby.
Okay, so one thing that always bothers me, and one thing that I try with my own daughter is having open communication with her. And I can tell her, when I wrote The Girl Who Died at 7, she thought the book was about her because she was 7 years old when it came out. And so I used to always tell her, like, there's nothing that you can do or say that your mama hadn't done, did, may still do, or I know somebody. And so open lines of communication. Also, because when I was younger, I did not have that from my parental guardian. And again, my mother knows this, so don't go and try to be messy. No. Don't go, that little red lady, no. But I was a different type of child. And I say that to say the cliche is what happens in this house stays in this house, never really stays. Because even after listening to your story, even though you didn't have anybody to talk to, there were other areas where that same trauma bled out. Being depressed, go, as you say, being drugged, taken through the mud. How did that affect you in relationships? I know you mentioned to me that you were married. You were once married, but how did you get to a place of dating, and how did the issues of your childhood affect dating, or did they even affect your dating?
It did, but at the time, I didn't have as much experience in life to where I'll know how to. This may be a pattern, or I know how to do this, and I know you don't know too much yet. You just getting out here in the game. I was 23 at the time, but I jumped off the porch at a young age. I was there at a young age, guys. But
what's a young age? I've had some people have been in here that have been having sex since they was 12. But
I ain't gonna say. I can't really. You may have to put this out too, but I can't really tell you when I lost my virginity because I lost it
during that time.
Yes.
Okay, so they were taking advantage at such a young age. How did that affect you when it came to dating? Because I know that some women and or boys who are unfortunately robbed that innocence at a young age, they become promiscuous after that. If you did not watch the interview from Kay Vance, she talked about her sexual assault at the age of 6 or 7, and how before she was 15, she had already had double-digit sexual partners. So, and that is, I want to hone in, and that is a real life, how can I say? That is a real life thing. That's not really the right word, but it's not coming to me right. That's a real life, I'm going to say thing, because I don't want to, I'm not always correct, you guys. But that is something that happens when people have been sexually assaulted, molested, raped, incest at such a young age. They become very promiscuous because especially if they don't get help from it, they become very promiscuous. Or they go in isolation and want nobody to touch them. Or you get the mixture of the two. They'll have a cycle where they go in isolation, and then they'll become promiscuous again, because then they'll feel guilt, and then it's a cycle for them. So for you being abused at such a young age, how did that affect you when it came time to actually really date?
Instead of me at the time, because I was so young, instead of me going to have sex with people, I was still a kid. So, my folks ran it like, hey, you a child, stay in a child's place. So I was just quiet. I didn't say nothing.
You went in isolation within yourself.
Absolutely. So, and when I was a kid, that's where I really found God, that I used to read the Bible in the dark. So, when people look at you, they be like, oh yeah, she must be
tatted
this.
Up.
No, hey, I'm tatted up, but I'm a child of God, boo, and I'm a scholar. I'm a welder also, certified. It's a lot of things to me that you got to be careful when you judge the book. Stop judging. And everybody don't have to be the same. We all don't have to be like you, and you don't have to be like us. But find people of your tribe that speak the same language. But yo, like I was saying, that right there, I isolated within myself, so I was quiet. So when I would go to school, by me being quiet, and we got to change schools, I'm getting I'm around these girls, they bullying because they from, you know what I'm saying? They doing stuff from the east side. They just and that's when I learned there that I was having a problem with women. Because of the way that I look. I was young, and my genes are hereditary as far as
how you're shapely. Let's go ahead and put it out there.
I'm saying it humbly. I don't want y'all to come fight me like that.
Because you're shapely, and we do know that we're women, and some people, especially if you are shaped more, if you have, I'm gonna say it this way. The unfortunate thing about girls who are shapely at a young age, people are quick to call you fast.
They gonna mark you, but see,
they quick to call you fast.
And let me rebuttal with that right there. When you all are talking about these girls because they're growing up with these genes and stuff like that, you might need to be careful. You need to keep an eye on these children because these girls are going through depression also.
Correct.
These girls don't know how to talk to you because when you come to them and try
prejudging,
you're going to prejudge them first. So what can they say to you?
Correct.
So therefore, that's another young lady. She got to go out there and find love in the world when she had it at home. We got to come to some type of conclusion, guys, to where we got to stop excuse my language, we got to stop glorifying bullshit. And that's a real thing. You got to look after these children because if you don't look after these children, it's a world out there, they gonna swallow them babies up. So you need to, if you love your folks, instead of telling your folks when you got a problem, oh, let's go shoot up something, you need to tell them to find God. You need to tell them to find some peace within themselves. Y'all need to go somewhere and have a little Bible study. Because the world is headed to shit, and you don't know what's going to happen. But look after your people. Look after these young girls, guys. Stop every time somebody she gonna be fat. Listen, don't put your mouth on the Lord's people, because you can go back to the Bible. He was using prostitutes. So what you gotta say, it really don't be mattering. You're just talking. And those be the same people who you speak about. They're going to be the Josephs. If you know who who the Joseph is, those are going to be the same people who are going to have to come back and rescue you. So be careful when you're speaking on the Lord's people. I don't care if I know what you serve or who you serve. I don't care. You're still the Lord's people. You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I'm going to love you regardless, because it ain't my place to say, oh yeah, you ain't like me. It ain't my place, because who told me that my way was the right way? And that's what people, when they start judging, you need to make sure you know what you're talking about, and you don't want nobody talking about your business, but you'll get on the phone, girl, that's too much. That talking that you're doing, you need to get before the Lord and pray. You need to go and find some peace. You need to go and see what your next endeavor is going to be. As far as school, do you want to go to school? What are you going to do for the children? It's more things to worry about than me judging you. You get what I'm saying? She went through this right here, I got to watch her. No. Just no.
So when you were in school, you were being bullied. And so
at a young age now, when I got up in high school and stuff, I started doing my thing, guys. But yeah.
You weren't fighting, were you?
Talk about in school?
In high school.
We was talking about elementary school.
You weren't beating up on these kids, were you?
No, I wasn't beating up on them. I'm still who I am. I don't bully people. I don't like people that bully people, because you're trying to go against the defenseless. And these people, you feel like they ain't got what I got. Let's bully them. I don't like people being bullied. So now I stand for what's right. I don't be in stuff now because I'm an adult. But you come with some bullying, my sisters and stuff like that. Oh no, we're not going to do none of that. I don't bother people. I didn't turn into the monster. I created balance. So now when my enemies see me, I can stand strong because I got the angels with me. I can stand strong because I got that confidence with me that God is not going to let my enemies triumph over me. So yes, at that time, the bullies, they were coming because we moved to another state. Then I'm going through this as a child. And, you scared to tell people, because some families, when you tell what happened to you, oh, she lying, or they going to take that person's side. It's everything coming everything comes into play when you make that allegation, and you have to make sure you're standing firm on it. So, sometimes you got to say, if you think I'm lying, sue me, and it just got to be what it is. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't have to keep on you got to try to explain your innocence. Like, oh, I'm innocent, I didn't do it. It's too much. You know what
Absolutely.
I'm saying? So I went through that, and I felt like I couldn't talk to nobody. But instead of me being like promiscuous like that, not saying I didn't do that when I got an adult, but instead of just being with a lot of men, I just shut down and I just get quiet. So when a boy would try to talk to me, I would be shy, and someone would lie on me. Y'all stop lying on yourself. Don't do that. Because if they come and ask me now, I'm going to tell them what it really is. Don't do that, guys. But people will, because they see that you are a victim, they will treat you like that. And most people, when you have problems out of life where you don't like people, or people coming up against you all the time as a child, or you feeling some type of way, most times when you have those traits, it's when God brings you to your purpose, that right there is to help other people.
Absolutely.
So sometimes you got to go past what, you got to read inside the box instead of, everything is right here. You don't have to do nothing more out.
Correct. Okay. So we have talked about the overcoming of the sexual abuse as a child. We have, you have identified with us that you are not a very promiscuous person, but you were more of an isolated person. And then you do have 2 sons right now. So how was your relation? How were you with going through them things as in a young age? How are you raising your children so that do you consider yourself an overprotective parent? Do you let them have their freedom? Like how are you as a mother?
With that, I came to the conclusion, like, it just one day I just woke the hell up, and I'm just like, it's not about how my parents raised me. It's not about what happened to me when I was little. I got my own children now.
Absolutely.
Now I have to change the narrative, and I have to be an example. So I'm the mama that I'm the mama that you're supposed to be in. I'm not talking about my mother. I'm just saying people, period, when they look at you as being a mother to your own children. I'm the mother that I'm going to give you an example. I'm the example. You know what I'm saying? I look after my children, whatever they are. A and B students. You saw my babies. They're my precious baby boys. But I keep them sheltered because I know that the world will snatch you and bring you 2 ages up, and you just 6. You know what I'm saying? You'll be up in the, knowing too much. So now I take them through every stage of their life. When they turn 6, I let them be 6-year-olds. When they turn 10, I let them be 10-year-olds, and I let them just go through every stage. But I let them be boys because they're going to be men one day. You know what I'm saying? But I show them the game. When I go through something, my babies, they've been right there since my baby's been there with me. Like, them been my road dog, especially my oldest baby. They've been there with me. So when I go through something, I show them how things work. I show them, oh, mama got to pay these bills, or you got to make sure you go clean. I get them little chores and stuff so they can have a backbone, and they won't have to depend on mama. So I nurture them now. When they get older, it should be instilled in them. So that's what I do now. I don't care who was there or not. I don't give a damn. I'm gonna take care of them children regardless, because they didn't ask to be here. I made my own choices when I made them, and that's it. You just can't go off of what people did to you. Sometimes you just gotta let that go. But people can learn from you what you've been through. So I hope somebody learn. I hope y'all get the game, baby, and just know that you just don't gotta be dragged through the money. Please.
Absolutely. Now you got me saying absolutely.
Say it. Absolutely. Yes.
So I know for me as a parent, when I had my daughter, I didn't want her to go nowhere. I wanted her to be underneath me. I didn't trust anybody. And then I realized that there was actually authentic help out there who loved my baby just like I did. So I just know sometimes, and I didn't recognize it until about a month or 2 ago. We were in therapy, and she was like, y'all have a codependency on each other. And I was like, I can see it. I don't care. And then when I came home, I realized that we do, because I had my daughter when I was 23. I turned, our birthdays are both in July. I turned 24 a few weeks later. And it dawned on me that one day you're going to leave my house.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't be, my baby's 15 and she's 5'3", I'm 5 foot. And I will still carry her around on my waist. And I looked at her and I said, Caitlin, we're going to have to do some separation.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have lived and breathed through you for 15 years. And although she's 15 and I'm not giving her like total freedom because I'm not crazy, but I don't make a move. I didn't used to make a move without seeing what she needed first. Like I literally lost out. I didn't know who Victoria was outside of being a mom. So tell us, who is Nene outside of being a mom, outside being an entrepreneur? Who is Nene?
I'm a real nigga. I'm just
that's right.
I'm a real nigga, baby. I'm sorry, I'm a real nigga. but yes, I am. I went through a lot, guys, and I haven't said everything because I really feel like we all have a story to tell, but now the people want to know how to get out. You get what I'm saying? So, now who I am now, I take everything with a grain of salt. If it ain't about the Lord, even when I feel rejected, when people try to, they try to make me feel less than or whatever. I done been rejected. I done been looked over and all that shit, but it never mattered because God put me first, y'all. So it doesn't even matter. I do different crafts. I'm a loctician. It's a lot of stuff I've done that most people won't do. But it's like I said, instead of judging a book, you know what I'm saying, get to know a person first. And when you see people, you don't got to just prejudge them, guys. A lot of us do love the Lord. We do pray. I sing in church. I love going. I'm not no religious person because I do my thing, but I just have a balance to everything. I learned how to balance things out. And for you all that have problems with when people reject you, when you go through bad breakups and stuff like that, you have to know that something greater. You never lost anything you were supposed to keep. If you're losing anything, whatever God has for you, you don't have to beg, steal, rob, or borrow. It'll come to you and it'll come with ease. So you stop chasing the wind. Don't chase the wind and let the blessings just come to you. And that's what I had to learn. I know it may sound all over the place, but we all got back to one main conclusion, that the Lord is the source. And that's what he was for me. I went through a lot. I'm talking about being by myself, going through, your family knowing that you're going through, but bless your heart. But now when I done got on my feet and I done learned, okay, I'm going to put my trust in the Lord, even though I can't see him. You get what I'm saying? That's where I put my trust, guys. And I remember saying, like, Lord, if you bless me to be able to have a business, I'll dedicate it back to you. And that's how I got the name Be For Me. And I went back to scripture. You get what I'm saying? So, and it says it in the Bible also, acknowledge me and acknowledge God in all your ways. We are all sinners. I'm not here saying I'm no better than you. You get what I'm saying? Because you're God's child too, no matter how you feel. And I just can't sit here and beat you down and hurt you because you still matter and you still have feelings. Absolutely. You're a mother, you're a daughter. You got to go out here and go to work and all that shit. You got to do so much when we're not interacting. You get what I'm saying? So that's really what I do, y'all. And I like making people happy. I like you can't make people happy as far as the physical, but what I do, I take care of people with my business. I take care of people with encouragement. Sometimes you got to stop being so catty and encourage somebody, or you need encouragement. Get up, take a bath. Wash your face.
Take a bath.
Yes. You don't have to look at what everybody else got because you can have it too. Take care. Even if you in the projects, take care of what you have. Absolutely. Clean it up. And the Lord will give you more because you're not up there looking. You're not up there with a small amount of space looking at all this here. You're being grateful for what you have. So, yeah,
we're near the end of our interview. And I really have to say, I I know we just did another take, but I've never really listened to anybody be truly not acknowledging anything about it. And when I hear you speak, I just hear the rawness of it. And what I mean by that is you give the devil no glory in anything that you've gone through.
Wow.
and I love that about you. And that's the words I was looking for. Because there's so many times that even, I'll take us through the 3 A's. Acknowledge our past, accept that you can't change it, and affirm yourself that you are deserving, of a better and brighter future. Those are the 3 A's that I live by. And when anytime somebody comes into the room, that's what I leave the people with. And as I'm listening to you, I really, really hear the affirmation of your life. You continuously affirming yourself that I don't give a flying flip-flop what happened to me. The devil gets no glory, no purpose, no shine, no nothing when it comes to and the rawness of your speaking had me speechless. Because I have overcome my past. I don't care. But the way I speak and the way you speak, you're just so raw. And I thought I was raw. Oh, yeah. Baby, but you're just so raw with it. And I know that whomever watches this and has come across their page, across their timeline, or just randomly scrolling on YouTube, I know without a shadow of a doubt that somebody's going to be like, yeah, Nene, that's my spirit. Like, Nene got the same spirit as I do. And I want to say thank you for that.
No problem. Thank you for having me. I just be real. I be real with myself. I like being real with people because people need to be touched. Like, the world is really shit, y'all. You got to be nice to people because at the end of the day, ain't nothing going to matter. The only thing that's going to matter is your name and your word. Whatever you had to say and do, that's the only thing that's going to matter.
We'll leave it with that. And I gotta agree with that. The only thing that we got on this side of the earth is our name and our word. And without either one of those, who are we really? So again, thank you so much for coming into the room. We appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
If you ever want to come again, guys, we are down to our last episode. We have one more interview. She will debut next Wednesday on Thanksgiving. And the day before Thanksgiving. And I think it's a perfect time to be raw and uncut. The day. That's the reason why I chose you to be there, because I just knew something told me in my spirit that you and me what people need to hear on Thanksgiving. Because during Thanksgiving, it's seasonal depression really sets in, especially when you don't have anybody, when you're feeling isolated, when you're feeling alone, depression strikes up. And so I knew having you at this time will be what somebody needs when they're sitting at home in that isolation and they're thinking that, it probably be better on earth if I wasn't here. But to hear your story, somebody gonna be like, yeah, nah, that ain't it.
Trouble don't last always, baby. It don't last always. God got a plan for you, and his plans are to help you and not to hurt you. I promise you that.
So yeah, again, she's going to premiere next Wednesday. I think that's the 23rd or the 24th. Don't count your days. Don't count mine, because I'll be wrong. No. And so we have one more interview coming up, and we're going to take the rest of December off just to regroup, reboot. As I said before, having these interviews takes a lot out of me, just because I really feel what people are saying. Some call it empathic, whatever your thing is. But yeah, we'll be back in January. We got one more after her, and then we'll be back in January. So again, thank you so much for coming into the room. I appreciate each and every one of you for subscribing to our channel. And if this may not even be for you, but please share it out for someone else. And again, thank you, Nene, for coming in the room.
No problem, guys. Thank you for having me.